Good?
Yep.
All right, cool. So this is Stellarium, web browser for Stellarium. And if you come down here to the bottom, you see azimuthal grid. Okay, this isn't some flat earth thing. Click that, what do you see? You get a dome. So this is a coordinate system, right? It's built on the azimuth reading and then the basically the declination or the altitude readings. So you take your altitude angles and then you take your azimuth angle and direction, and then you get a coordinate system, right? And it's a dome, right? It's a personal dome. So like if you go out, this is how you're going to see the stars based on where you are. Based on the observer's position, we take angles. And this is obviously under the globe paradigm, right? This is stellarium. And stellarium does have pretty good accuracy, certainly in the north when I've checked it, you know? So anyway, if we come over here, this dome right here on Walter's model, so thanks Walter. This is just the same dome as this. You're inside the dome here. Now you're seeing the dome from the outside. That's it. It's literally, that's where he got it. Okay? And so if you see here, you get to the outside, you can see that you see the convergence on the outside. You see that's actually on the other side. If I can take this angle right here, see right there, you see that convergence point? That's you seeing the convergence point of the stars from the south. And you can, now if you do this, this explains everything. It explains the positions of everything. And what they say, everyone may know if you come down here, he tries to say that it doesn't work because of the light would have to bend in a way that's impossible. But the light doesn't actually bend. It's just an optical effect. So that's it. It's an optical effect. It's not physically bending. You have a personalized dome, if you want to call it that. It's an azimuthal grid. And we added of vision because just to specify, right? But it's built on the observer's position. If you use this, which is, again, that's what everyone uses anyway. This is how, like, when you take your positions, if I don't know if you can see my cursor, but if you take point, you keep going, you're going to get a dome. We take our angles on the sky. That's how it works from the Earth. So anyway, if you do this and you map it out, it can explain everything. Now, is this map perfect? Maybe not. But the point is that using this map, we can explain every single celestial phenomena, the positions of the stars, the equinox positions, the directions the sun come from, everything.
The size of the sun staying the same, because look at inside your personal dome there, the sun is always the same distance away from you. So why would you expect it to get smaller or get bigger?
Exactly. You see right here. Yep. And it's like, this is a death blow to the Globers. We all know that they only talk about the sky.
Right.
So, like, what's their debunk of flat Earth? It's just some misunderstanding built upon a straw man reifying what they think the sky is. It's all the sky. Sky, this. Sunsets, sunrises, equinoxes, eclipses. Everything's the sky. If you take all of it away, which this does, this shows, like, you can actually predict position, that you see the eclipse on the plain Earth, everything, dude. Like, everything. The southern star trails, all that.
We've been doing this for hundreds of years, and it's called the planisphere. It's the dome, your personal atmospheric dome or azimuthal grid over a flat plane. That's how a planisphere works. And yeah, AJC 1844, if you're interested in planispheres, he breaks them down and exactly with it. He shows how the equinox works over a flat plane with the amount of sunlight that we see. And yeah, planispheres are really interesting. You have to get one for your actual latitude. You can't, most of them back in the day were around, I think it's 41 north, something like that, right around where London is. That's where a lot of people were making planispheres. But they do make them for many different latitudes. You just have to find one for yours. But yeah, it's the same thing. We've been doing this for hundreds of years now. And it works.
These are arbitrary positions of the stars. These are just random stars he put up there, right? Visualization, and he draws these angles. But of course, as you go further south, you can't see them anymore. You can't see forever.
Right.
Now what he does is he does this to make it look crazy, right? Where you see all these crazy angles, and if you click flat Earth, look what he does. Makes it look wild. But See what I'm saying? But the truth is, that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with reality, bro.
Well, and
Like,
plus, again, here's the thing: is that when you put the stars up that high, then it's very easy for someone to say, "Well, why wouldn't I be able to see Polaris from the south tip of South America?" Because on this map, if you do look at Polaris, which is at the North Pole, you're like, "Yeah, that person should be able to see the North Pole star," but the ceiling's lower.
well, it doesn't even matter with that though. Like, because you can't, because you have a limit above you as well. Like, this, you can't see. This is all you can see. You know, like, this is all you can see is this little dome.
Right.
That's
So
it.
what if somebody asked though, like, why can you only see that dome if, let's say, we're talking about Polaris? So look at go south, go to like where you're at the south tip of South America. So I can see somebody asking, well, why wouldn't you be able to see Polaris from there?
Yeah, but we all know that, like, okay, we have the ground parallel. We have the sky above us. It's or the ground is horizontal. We have the sky parallel to the ground.
Right.
That's why the bottom of clouds are flat, right? So they're parallel. What do parallel lines look like on a railroad track?
Right, they converge.
They converge. So flip that over, and it does the same thing, right? It just converges. You know, so you can't see forever. Can you see railroad tracks forever?
Right.
No. Can you see them? Can you not see them forever because of the curve of the Earth? No. It's perspective, right? Like, you can't see forever. And the truth is, it's actually curved visual space. That place that it converges is actually curved because our eyes are curved. And so is every lens ever used. So it's like, that's where you get this curve right here. And that's why when we take our angles, it does this very thing. They try to use a celestial sphere, then say it's actually the Earth that's a sphere. And the truth is, that was all built on our vision, how far we can see. So you wouldn't see forever. Now, with the dome height thing, it is interesting, right? Because, like, we were talking, you know, it would be like this, but that's still too high.
Right.
Right.
And he's still
Like,
making those stars appear to be all at different elevations. I mean, I've never said that. I don't know if they're all on the same exact plane in the sky or if they're connected to the actual physical firmament. I've never claimed that. What if they were all flat?
Yeah, and they might be all, and then again, to me, it would make sense if somebody ever said, why don't they change size, coming close to you, going away from you? Be kind of the same idea. That it's always the same size in that little dome there.
Yeah, because you're always seeing them at the same distances.
See, he did this to make it look stupid. He makes these arbitrary. So these are fake little stars he put up here. These aren't real stellarium data. And when you use stellarium, everything works perfect. You know, and then he starts curving them arbitrarily. It's like, oh, I'll curve it a little bit. I'll curve it at this rate to make it loop in there.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Like, no, we're just looking at the star through this. It's just an optical effect, and the light's not bending anywhere.
And you can keep those lines there and then move that little dome around?
Yeah. Or you can move it further away.
I just wonder where these curved lines are coming from. Why wouldn't they be straight lines?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He arbitrarily draws a huge curved line to make it look bad because he couldn't find another way to debunk it. You know, the actual story is he worked on this for a really long time trying to debunk flat Earth, and he found out you actually can map it. So he finally just gave up, published it because he put too much work into it, and then wrote. But it wouldn't work because there would have to be like some crazy refraction to bend the light. The light doesn't actually bend. You see the star through here, and then you see it relative to here, to your observer position, to your azimuthal grid or personal dome, as people call it. I like azimuthal grid because it's specific, and it's actually even named that here. So it really just cuts the point where they can't. If they deny this, then they deny their own model, right? So yeah, I think that we should get behind this argument because again, it's if you take the sky arguments away from the globe proponents, they literally have nothing. I've actually had them admit, I'm like, do you have a debunk of flat Earth without the sky? They're like, no. I take them. Right? Like these are anti-corpuscular rays. These are 180 degree. The sun would be behind you when you see this. So in their own paradigm, there's like a circle around you, a limit that you can't see. And these are supposedly above our head, and they're supposedly parallel. So this is just an optical effect where they look like they're converging, but they're actually all parallel. And it goes over your head. So if you draw a line from the horizon, like right here, this is like the horizon, right? Like, so you take your point from the horizon and you go over your head back to a point on the horizon behind you. What do you get? You get a dome.
Yep.
You get a curved dome, right? And so that's their own model requires them to do this.
It's pretty wild, man. I actually seen it. I have pictures of it. I'll have to dig them out of my camera. Ever since I got the new computer, I haven't downloaded them all onto my hard drive. But yeah, I'll show them to you. It was wild. The only reason I saw it, my buddy blew a tire out leaving work. Like right out of the parking lot, there was a long drive out to the main road. And right in the middle of that, the tire, he realized it was flat and he started changing it. And I jumped out to help him. And I look up in the sky at the sun. I was like, what the heck is going on? I turned around and I saw that all those dark lines converging at the other side.
Audible. Hör die Welt neugieriger. Wann singt die Nachtigall? Warum leuchten Tiefseewesen? Wie führen Elektronen Fernbeziehungen? Hör die Audible Original Podcast-Serie Sag mal du als und viele weitere exklusive Geschichten. Nur bei Audible. Jetzt kostenlos testen.
Über 70% der Deutschen essen zu wenig Ballaststoffe. Deshalb täglich Activia. Mit wertvollen Ballaststoffen und dem einzigartigen Mix aus 5 Joghurtkulturen. Unterstütze deine gesunde Verdauung mit Activia. Gut für dich und deinen Bauch.
Wild.
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And like, just to wrap it up and I'll stop sharing, like, this is, well, I've heard Globers once say like this proves flat Earth, right? Because the sun is going down below the Earth, and then that's why they're looking like that, and that can only happen on a globe because the sun goes down below the curvature of the Earth, which is incredibly dumb because these are actually viewed 180 degrees away from the sun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're in the opposite direction, so that means they have to invoke something like this, even on the globe, because again, if the corpuscular ray is on this side and then you follow it supposedly over your head and then down to the other side, you get the dome. And so then there's a circular limit, basically this optical convergence that wraps around you visually, creating this effect in their own paradigm. So they have to concede an azimuthal grid of vision. They try to say that the word vision is nowhere on Google. It's a viewing option, azimuthal grid of vision. And that's how you get this. So in summary, it's very simple. They use the same thing for time and date and for stellarium, right? To even map out anything on their reified globe. They use the same exact construct because it's just what we actually observe. We go out, we make the azimuth readings to get direction, then we make altitude readings. We map it out into a coordinate system of what we can see. It's based on the observer's position, so it's an azimuthal grid of vision relative to the observer. You take that same, you're inside the dome here. This is just showing you from outside the dome. You take that same thing, which of course these lines suck. They're just a straw man the position to make it look stupid. That's it.
And I'm wondering if the whole idea of refraction, then, when they talk about the sun being actually below the horizon and we're seeing it above it, must be because in that dome we're seeing it for longer than we should.
Yeah, and like things slow down optically when we're viewing them in closer to the horizon at times, and so
they have to
this is
keep
where
above the horizon.
They'll start
for
conflating
longer.
the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll conflate refraction and perspective because they have to. And then they're like, oh, but one guy was saying, no, this doesn't count. This isn't the same because we know that there's astronomical refraction of the stars. And that's not the same with the sun. I'm like, you guys say the sun is also refracted, right? And not in its actual position. And he's like, you're just a stupid flirt, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to show that because, and I'll work more on it. I'm hoping that, because I'm going to start bringing up on debates, and so it's going to kind of get a lot of attention, and I'm just hoping they don't, like, do what they normally do and pull it down.
Maybe if the guy who does Bob's Wins hears this, he can
replicate it.
take it, yeah.
That would be fire, yeah.
Respect it.
All right, cool. So that's all I want to say. It's like they use the same exact dome of vision, if you want to call it that, azimuthal grid of vision for time and date and stellarium, because it's just the actual angles we view on the sky, and it explains everything, and it even admittedly explains everything. The eclipses, the equinox positions of the sun and the moon, and the southern star trails. So when people want to know how do you see the southern star trails, well, you have a limit to your view. You see in curved visual space, specifically hyperbolic geometry, non-Euclidean geometry. But simply put, you have a dome of vision, an azimuthal grid of vision. So, all right, cool. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's important that we kind of, if we can all come together on this understanding, it's really bad for them because that takes away every alleged debunk of the globe, of the flat Earth.
Yeah.
So thanks, Walter.
Thanks, Walter.
That's all is the sky. Thank you, Walter.